This is Mason Weaver. Welcome to Stay Right or Be Left. This program is dedicated to the truth, right between the lies. This morning we all woke up and we saw the devastation in Las Vegas when a lone gunman apparently went up to the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Casino and opened fire on a country western concert. And we're all sitting back here wringing our hands and saying how terrible it is, trying to wait to see the name of the guy so we can know if he's Muslim or not, trying to determine if it's going to be an Islamic terrorist. But it doesn't really matter to those folks that are dead and wounded and traumatized. It does not matter if it's a local Klansman or a Tifa or someone with Nazism. It doesn't matter. We have changed our culture in this nation because we have not defended our culture. We have changed who we are as Americans because we have not stood up for who we are as Americans. Where did we get to in a nation where this gentleman, who I will not mention by name because that's what he wanted, but what's it take for this gentleman to come together with this idea of doing this? Most of these guys think they're going to be heroes. In their culture, in their belief system, this had to happen. We are not fighting for the American culture. We don't take lives. We don't fight this kind of way. We don't do these things. But now you see the family members. The brother came out and said, I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what was going on. He just snapped. No. You don't snap. Folks, if you snap, you're driving to work on the freeway and someone cuts you off for the 15,000th time and you use your car for a battering ram. That's snapping. If you snap at a restaurant when the waiter brings you food you didn't order and you had a terrible day and you snap and turn the table over, that's snapping. But to pack up 10 weapons in your bag, go to the hotel 3 days early, overlooking a concert and watch for 3 days, have ammunition prepared, have your system prepared to shoot and reload, it's not snapping. Having more guns at home that your family did not know about, that is not snapping. There's a cultural click, a glitch in who we are as a people. We are Americans. It should mean something. But we've now had decades of people telling us that there are no Americans. You realize there are no Americans? If I go to Germany, I'll find Germans. If I go to Japan, I'll find Japanese. But in America, you got African Americans, homosexual Americans, you got Native Americans, you got all these different doggone Americans, and those who identify as Americans are embarrassed and bullied and shouted down. How dare you be a racist American? We've allowed the greatest culture that has ever existed to be torn down by these pansy, wimpy cowards who cannot compete in America. So we've allowed these wimps to teach our kids from kindergarten through college that America is not great and American values are not great. We allow them to think that we are overbearing, aggressive culture that beats down the minorities among us. It is not true, and we all know it's not true. But we stand politely as they tear down our culture. It's time for boldness. It's time for standing up. It is time for declaring we are proud of being Americans. I'm not a black American. I'm an American who happens to be black. You cannot look at my culture and at my race and my face and tell me anything about my culture. But you leave my doggone flag flying in my yard out there, you can know a lot about my culture. Let's take this opportunity. Those of us that are righteous, those of us that are understanding, those of us that are mature with clear thinking, not those clowns, just us. Let's make a clear understanding of who we are, a proclamation of who we are. The reason we are against the NFL and NBA because they are slapping us in the face in our culture. The reason we do not accept the nonsense that Donald Trump is a racist, we are standing on our culture. Let's stop pretending and become bold and turn around and tell these clowns, you are wrong and we are right and we will not compromise with you. This culture is the greatest culture on the planet, and the reason the planet is safe because of we are here. This young man, as old as I am almost, he plotted. He thought it was socially acceptable to take a gun, multiple guns, and kill people at a country western concert. Why? We don't know yet. Maybe he didn't like country western music. Maybe he didn't like rednecks. Maybe he didn't like white folks. He knows that's going to be there. Maybe he didn't like Las Vegas. He lived there. Maybe I don't know. The reason is irrelevant. He thought it was okay to do that. He probably thought he'd be a hero for doing that. Stop this. We are Americans. Doggone, we don't stand up and be Americans. How can the French be Frenchmen? How can the Spanish be Spaniards? How can the Mexicans be Mexicans? Everywhere you go, you find a culture. And when you find a separate culture, when you find two cultures trying to get along together, when you find two cultures, two languages, two belief systems living in the same geographical area, you always, always, always find strife and war and rebellion. Only when you have one culture, one language, one people, one nation, one habit, one tradition, only when you have that do you have peace and prosperity. And those who are trying to separate our cultures know this. Those who are trying to preach the difference and division in America understand this. They want your country divided. They want your country torn apart. If you don't want your country torn apart, you better support your country. You better do it loudly. You better do it vocally. You better stand up at school board meetings and say you're foolish. You better stand up at student halls and say you're crazy. You better understand what's going on in your nation and defend your country. It's not enough to stamp your hand over your heart. It's not enough. I am tired of candlelight vigils. Now you're going to hear calls of Las Vegas strong. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of supporting the teddy bear industry and the candlelight industry and the greeting card industry. No, I don't want sympathy. I want to correct it. I want it never to happen again. I want to reach out and have an open heart. My prayers aren't inflicted for you. We pray for the nation ahead of time. I want to stop this mess. I want to stop these people who think that taking a gun out and shooting innocent people is required to make your change. I want to take that. Are you with me? Are you tired of this mess? Our culture is under attack in our nation. In our nation. Everywhere you look in the news, they're telling you that you're irrelevant, that you're weak. You're supposed to find common ground with the enemy. You're supposed to find somewhere to compromise. No. Lead. Stand for what's right boldly. Everything you know, everyone you know, every organization that you look up to came from someone being bold. We are Americans. By definition, we're bold. Ask the King of England, the strongest government in the world. We stood up and said, no, we're not playing anymore. As Europe, we saved their lives. As Asia, we rescued them. We're bold. As the people who went to the moon, we are bold. Let's stop pretending like we're cowards, like we're timid. My God, where are the men? You got family to defend. You got a nation to defend. Where are the men? Let's stand up and say this garbage has to stop. We are Americans. We're strong. We're going to cleanse ourselves from this garbage mindset that we're in. This is Mason Weaver. Stay right or be left. We're going to take America back. God bless you.